Today is Monday, January 17th, and this week I read Paris Hilton's Confessions of an Heiress. And what I was going to do was kind of, have a bit of a joke, do like a kind of in-depth look at it, pretend that it was serious literature. It became very apparent very early on that that is an impossible task. This book was so much more terrible and soul-destroying than I ever could have imagined. So this video, instead of me explaining it to you, will be giving you some examples just so you can share some of my pain. This book starts off with Paris Hilton, the heiress herself, telling us that people have the wrong idea about her. And then says things like, don't be boring. There is no sin worse in life than being boring. Well, I can think of a few. Murder, probably be up there. It also becomes clear very early on that she's invented a new, meaning for the word heiress, and she's asking the readers of their book to find their inner heiress. Try as I might, mine could not be located. I don't know, maybe I don't have one. The best way for me to tell everyone how to act and feel like an heiress is by doing this book. You do not do a book, you write a book. And I don't know what kind of age Paris Hilton's fan base is, but to say things like this to them, this is some tips from her on how to be an heiress. Always act like you're on camera and the spotlight is on you. Always behave like you're the center of attention. Always act like you're wearing an invisible crown. She goes on to say that secrets are very important. Even if you have no secrets, and everyone does, though everyone does. But Paris, I hear you shouting at the screen, what if I'm a bit insecure? What can I do about that? If an heiress is feeling a little insecure, she should go shopping. But Paris, what if shopping doesn't work for me? And if she still doesn't feel any better, she should go to Paris. And then she goes on to give her instructions, like her top 25 things that you need to do in order to become an heiress. She says, here are my fail-safe instructions on how to be an heiress and live like you have a privileged life. And I am serious about them. Most of them anyway. What? Well, which ones are you serious about and which ones aren't you serious? Are you gonna just throw some jokes in there for a challenge? What are you talking about? And it starts off with my very favourite one. Number 1, be born into the right family. Choose your chromosomes wisely. This may seem like ludicrous advice, but it actually isn't. If an heiress is in control of everything, why shouldn't she be in control of who she's born to? You know how everyone always says that there are no accidents? Well, I believe you choose who you're born to. Have a great name. If you're going to be an heiress, you can't have a normal name, unless you're British. All British people have plain names, and that works pretty well over there. Really? But in America, you've got to have a name that stands out. I love my name. Paris is my favourite city, and Paris, without the P, is heiress, isn't it? No, it isn't. Polonius did not get stabbed behind an heiress. Shakespeare jokes? Anyone? Paris goes on to say that she hasn't met too many clothes that she didn't like. Met? If you're happy, wear pink. Guys like women they're a little afraid of. No, make that a lot afraid of. Very afraid of. Think that very afraid of. Do you know, it just doesn't get any better. In fact it just gets worse, and I want to keep your souls intact as much as possible. I want to keep your faith in humanity intact as much as possible. I mean, I assumed that this was probably written by someone else, other than her, because I didn't think she'd be the type of person to just open Microsoft Word and start writing a book. But, evidently she must have been. I mean, I would say it seems like it's written by a child, but I feel like that would be an insult to children. And if she ever gets a sequel, and if somehow I end up commissioning it, which, you know, will never happen, the subtitle will not be a tongue-in-cheek peek behind the pose. It will be the incoherent ramblings of a self-obsessed moron. So yeah, as you can tell, I hated that book so much that when I was reading it, Katie, it made me like you less and less and less as I went through it. But then I remembered something, that you and Sarah didn't read your book one week, and as such, I got to give you a punishment because no one else selected any, and you still haven't done it. I will leave a link in the description to the video where I suggest your punishment that is Twilight related. This week I will be reading The Tempest because I have to read it for class, and I've read it before and it's quite short, and if I'm completely honest, I want to finish it by about Wednesday and then have a week and a half to read A Clash of Kings. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Questions. Katie, I forgot to answer your question about what race would I be in Middle-earth, and I would be amongst the race of men. Now, not in like a boring way, like, oh, I'm a man, so that's what my race would be, but in the same way that if I play Mario Kart, I go Mario, like, he's the all-rounder. I feel like the elves and the dwarves are just like kind of extensions of and exaggerations of the men. Like the elves have, you know, more wisdom and maybe intelligence, but they kind of lack the passion and the heart. And the dwarves are fierce and they have the passion, but they're quite single-minded. And I feel like the race of men are kind of like the all-rounder. They're the Mario of the Mario Kart world. If you go Yoshi, you're going to overtake me in the straights, but I'm going to get you in the corners eventually. Okay, that's my video for this week. Lauren, I'll see you tomorrow.